What's good? You rocking with your boys are all rights reserved. Up with you, up with the birds. Hashtag CommenterNation in the comments below. Hashtag GAD, grab a drink movement. Hashtag commenters unite. Commenters unite is the new commenter hashtag that we have trending on there. That means subscribe and hit the bell. Commenters unite, subscribe and hit the bell. Let people know. Hashtag CommenterNation, hashtag commenters unite. We finna get into this. Now, the topic to start off is we're going to discuss the player hatred that has to do with the whole ideology behind Tentacion and what happened. Jealousy was definitely a factor in this case. We could look at it up and down, left and right. Jealousy was a factor to some extent. Now, here's what my thing is. Jealousy being a factor, can we really call out these people synonymously to say it was these four men? Or are there multiple people that hate? And I want to quickly give a shout out to the 5 to 10 people that player hated and hit the dislike button yesterday. Thank you. Now, here's my thing. About 2 out of 5 of y'all maybe was the superstars that thought they were going to be mentioned, but that's okay. That's a topic for another moment, but we still gonna get into it. You see, when someone's rising and someone's music is trending, someone's becoming a profound face in the music industry. We know that player hatred's a part of the plan. It's all a part of everything that happens. When we look at who was there, we look at the different people that were implicated. It strongly suggests other figures were involved. It strongly suggests other figures aside from that, just because the simple factor of how we know he was trending, how we knew he was growing, how he was being groomed, how he was getting attention. And there were a lot of artists that weren't getting any play on the situation until he was gone, or they used his situation in order to grow their music careers. You can see this genuinely. Do you believe that these people were involved, even if there's no direct evidence? Does affiliations lead us to that mentality? Does it lead to that train of thought? We're still talking about a situation where individuals are being behind the scenes, but also doing their own thing, trying to gain their own fan base. So could this potentially have led them to make this decision? If we think of it this way, were these signed artists or were these artists independent? Because as we knew, Tentacion was mostly independent. He had a lot of deals coming in. He had a lot of notoriety going to him, a lot of credit going to the works he was doing, the different stuff he was doing. These things are all credible references to motives behind this. If we look at this genuinely, he was well known. He had millions of followers, as we've seen some individuals even willing to take their life because of his passing, even willing to give it all up because they can no longer be around him or have them in his grasp. Why is this? What's the factor? What's the matter behind this? Ultimately, this leads us to suggestions that certain people could be involved. We don't have the evidence. We don't have that type of proof. But what we can imagine is the fact that he was held in certain standards and was respected to a level that other people found him a threat in the game. This is all normal occasions, normal factors. Now, we could disassociate the fact that his mom showed up on stage with a few artists, but here's what you got to understand. Regardless of that being the factor behind the scenes, we can't see a man's heart, so we don't know who truly disliked all of the attention he was getting and all of the opportunity he was being given because of his talent. That's one thing to note. And here, hit this like button if you can agree with this, period. It'll be the people closest to you that have the most hate for you, and sometimes the enemies who people display and claim to be your enemy that really have the most support and affection for the fact that you have talent, and they can respect a formidable opponent. When we're talking about music, we're talking about the release of albums, the release of singles, and these are the things where we see a lot of people who weren't really rocking together link up to make beautiful music. That's the best part about the music industry, is when these people who we know are enemies get together, put their differences aside, and make the best music. Is it possible that there was someone closer that really had no respect for what was going on and wanted shine themselves and said, I can't shine unless this person's out the way. That would be a very credible and normal thinking that a lot of people won't do. This is the problem. It's because a lot of people look at who the enemy is and say, yep, they couldn't have did it. But then they make beautiful music and it's someone closer to them that hates, like, weren't y'all enemies? Oh, y'all should have stayed enemies. Like, they don't want to see people doing better. And that's the problem. That is the symbol of fakeness, because someone doesn't want to take their talents, grow on them, become something themselves, put in the work, that they want to take out someone else who's a talent, or stand over someone who's a talent and try and shade them or discredit them or make them seem like they're not really who they are. And they could be saying all the good things publicly, not saying anything, but then behind the scenes saying to other people, oh, look at them, look at this, look at that. And that's the normal player hatred that we don't support, that I don't support, that's not part of CommenterNation, why I block people. If anyone came directly at someone without it being over a factor of their opinion versus the other's opinion, I block them, because we don't deal with player haters. Player haters, you're the lowest form of life, honestly, because you can't build on your own substantial growth, but you got to hate on someone else's. That makes no sense to me. If you're a grown man or a woman, you should be trying to accomplish your own dreams, not trying to shade others to impress or empower your own grind. That is not how it works. Talent comes from the heart. Talent comes from the human spirit. It comes from empowerment through whatever faith that you have. It doesn't come from you destroying someone else's legacy to empower your own or to make press off of someone acknowledging you. And that's exactly why I mentioned the superstar angle in a very objective way, because I'm not going to point out superstars, because, again, we don't know who was friend or foe. There could have been people saying stuff out there they were combating, but ultimately they really respected their style and skill. There could have been people who were hugging up against them saying, I love you, you're the best I ever heard. And behind the scenes, like, I hate that dude, I hate him. You see, that's the whole thing about it. You can't tell who's real or fake, but what we can tell is that there was some type of disregard left in the situation to cause this level of trauma to his life, to his mother's life, to his family's life. So when we look at this behind the confolds, we see a lot of people saying different things. One thing I'm going to say at the top of this, we're going to respect his mother, because if you don't know what it's like to lose a child or to lose a sibling or something like that, take that same pain. We can't judge how someone reacts and does off of it. We can make opinions, but we don't know their heart. So you can't say that that is they did it or they felt this way or they were faking, because we don't know how they take pain. Everybody handles pain a little differently. It goes from person to person. The one thing is that we can definitely note is you got to be very careful who you have around you. Who you have around you, and I don't know if you guys ever heard this, the top 5 people you have around you is going to base yourself on your growth. That's why you want to put 5 people around you who may be in another stratosphere as far as financial wealth, faith, everything, and all those standards, because it'll help you to grow. You'll learn from them. You'll consistently learn, and asking questions will teach you and help you to develop. These are the key things that a lot of youth in the generation coming up do not do. That is going to be the downfall of a lot of their careers, a lot of their lives, because you got to definitely place yourself around different people who are doing things that you want to do, or you wish to do, or you like to learn to do. That'll help develop you as a person. Did he have this type of atmosphere? Did he have people around him doing things that he wished to do? Or did he have people around him who were of a lower standard and had different mentalities that didn't really add up to what it is he truly wanted to accomplish? These are simple things to understand when we're examining evidence, dealing with people who were there just acting and just talking, just doing things overall that weren't synonymous with where he wanted to be. Place yourself around people that are where you want to be. That is a key metric. That is what TheCzarr does. That is part of what I've done in order to create the masterpieces I've been creating for you. That is part of what motivated me to define CommenterNation. Months and months of reading, months of understanding the human mind, months of understanding people and the ignorance of people. Like, getting the ignorance of people is very important too. It'll be people you least expect. Some of the most successful people sometimes that are around you, but their ignorance is blatant. It's blatant to try to destroy what you got going on. That is why you place yourself around people who are looking to teach, people who live their life to teach others, to help others grow, that have business, that are focused on the business matters beyond any of the social aspects of just talking through stuff. They actually want to see you succeed and they want to prove it. And that is who I've been placing myself around for years and years and years with business. That's why I stick with the businesses I'm part of. That's why I keep in communication with the people that put their self into this type of mindset. It's very imperative because it will influence you to do things. It was what influenced me to chase my dreams. It was what influenced me to do these things. And they know who they are. And I always give credit to everything they've helped me through in the past. And I look forward to what they'll help me learn and what they'll help me through in the future. This is very critical because this is going to help to explain the mentalities that could actually be, in part, the purpose for his demise. Even though someone says that they care, if they're not leading you knowledge-wise to somewhere else where you can grow as a person, whether you're a man or a woman, they're no good. And that's just what it is. You got to place yourself around people that are greater than you so you can see the greater that you have to achieve. We're about to get into this. We're about to really get into this. You already know how I rock. All rights reserved. That fresh morning air. Yeah.